Previously on Merkaat Manor, the lazuli discovered the Whiskers' den where Shakespeare was babysitting Flower's pups on his own. In a desperate attempt to protect the new litter from certain death, he led them deep into the burrow complex, hotly pursued by the lazuli. She's small, she's cute, but don't be fooled by her delicate name. Flower, the leader of the Whiskers family, is just about as tough as they come. And after what she and her family have been through in recent months, it's just as well. This gang of more than 40 meerkats scratch out a living in the sandy soil of the South African bush. The Whiskers have been the subject of a 10-year study by Cambridge University. Their daily lives in the wild are tracked and recorded with cameras and a radio collar around Flower's neck. To say that their lives are eventful is an understatement. As well as the usual infighting and family politics, they've had to cope with snake bites, 6 new litters of pups, vicious battles over territory, and the deaths of some of their babies. And if Flower wasn't a strong and charismatic leader, there's no way the family could have survived. But her job just keeps getting tougher. It's late afternoon, and after a good day's hunting, Flower's leading the foraging party home. But as they slowly make their way back, the group have no idea of the drama unfolding at the burrow. Shakespeare and the precious new pups are in terrible danger. The lazuli, a rival group of meerkats, have come across the Whiskers' burrow, and they're digging furiously to get at Flower's pups. The only thing between the lazuli and the pups is babysitter Shakespeare. Big Si, the dominant male of the lazuli, has already made it underground. Scent marking the Whiskers' burrow means he's intent that this den is for keeps. He's the biggest, meanest meerkat around and is homing in on Shakespeare and the pups. With every second that passes, Big Si's being joined by more members of the lazuli army. In the confined space of the tunnel, there's not much room for maneuver, and it's pitch dark. For Shakespeare and the pups, the situation is desperate. They're moving deeper into the burrow in fear of their lives. With the hordes of lazuli hot on their heels, they won't be able to hide forever. As Big Si corners the terrified gang, Shakespeare has no alternative but to meet him head-on and fight. Moments later, the rest of the whiskers return from foraging. From the brow of the hill, they see that their home has been overrun by the lazuli. The rival groups spot the owners of the burrow, and the angry whiskers waste no time in commencing the attack. In defiance, the lazuli war dance straight towards the whiskers. They're going to defend this piece of territory as if it's their own. A bloody fight is inevitable. One of these sworn enemies will have to be defeated. The lazuli beat a hasty retreat. It's another win for the whiskers. But is this a bittersweet victory? Many of the gang are walking wounded, but the cuts and bruises may not be the only price the whiskers have paid. Underground, there's no sign of Shakespeare. Or the pups. Were the whiskers too late? Yossarian has missed all the action. He's spent the morning on his own. Male meerkats occasionally leave their groups to go in search of females, and it appears Yossarian has got lucky. Despite the action in the whiskers' territory, the only meerkat that he's come across is lonely Tosca. She was evicted from the whiskers by Flower, and she's unrelated to Yossarian, so she would be an ideal mate. Unfortunately, there's one thing standing between him and Tosca. Carlos, a roving male from the lazuli, has recently mated with Tosca, and he's still sticking close to her. As Carlos tries to warn Yossarian away, Yossarian only has to stand his ground to make his presence felt. Carlos wouldn't stand a chance in a fight with this much older and bigger meerkat, but he doesn't give up his females easily. It's time for another game of chicken. As Carlos sneaks closer to his rival in an attempt to scare him off, Yossarian calls his bluff and chases him away for good. But Yossarian's been caught out in the open just at the wrong moment. While Carlos has a handy hiding place and Tosca dives for cover, Yossarian has to make a run for it. The birds won't be helping him feather his nest today. Flower's got more pressing things to deal with. The whereabouts of her precious litter are her big priority now. She heads below ground to look for signs of life. Deep within the burrow complex, it's a huge relief to discover parsley, basil and rose are none the worse for their ordeal. But she's still got to find Columbus and Shakespeare. Out of the shadows, Columbus appears. He's also safe and well. But Shakespeare's nowhere to be seen. A couple of hours later, and after such a traumatic day, the group takes some time to reaffirm their bonds. When Yossarian makes his way back from his roving mission, Zaphod wastes no time in reminding him who the boss is, with a characteristic display of dominance over his brother. By mutual grooming and scent marking, the gang maintains its bonds and the group leaders keep control. After such a traumatic day at Merkaat Manor, grooming is more important than ever. As evening draws in, there's still no sign of Shakespeare. It looks as though there'll be one less meerkat sleeping in the burrow tonight. Next morning, there's a lot for everyone to deal with. Yesterday was traumatic, but life has to go on. There's no time for sympathy in this cat-eat-cat world. Flower wants the conditions to be just right before she leads out the foraging party. After all, today is going to be a landmark day for the pups. When Flower's ready to go, everyone springs into action. Sentries are posted to watch over the young pups, and everyone heads off quickly. Crucial to the success of any foraging expedition is the family lookout system. While most of the gang have got their heads down foraging, they rely on other group members to keep their eyes on the sky for danger. Among the sentries doing their duty today is Mitch. He was part of Flower's first litter of the year and is fast approaching adulthood. His increasing maturity means that if he puts out a warning call, then the family take notice. But it wasn't long ago that he relied totally on his family to watch over him. As a tiny 3-week-old pup, his first day out of the burrow was almost his last. Kinkajou, one of Mitch's teenage sisters, whisked him off into the bush and promptly abandoned him for something more exciting. As the minutes ticked by, his chances of getting home alive were getting slimmer and slimmer. Luckily for Mitch, his big brother Shakespeare came to the rescue. And now Mitch could be taking over Shakespeare's sentry duties, making him one of the most important members of the gang. Mitch isn't the only one who owes his life to heroic Shakespeare. The kids are alive and well too. On today's foraging trip, they've got to do their best to keep up, despite their little legs, which make even short distances feel like kilometers. Venturing this far from the burrow is a new experience for Parsley, Basil and Rose, so they stick together. Columbus, on the other hand, is more adventurous. He's already been out with the adults and is proving to be a fast learner. He's been watching Einstein dig for food. But although he's grasped the basic technique, it'll be a bit longer before he's able to catch his own meal. With a newfound confidence, the other three pups start their own solo investigations. Parsley watches the digging, but doesn't seem too keen to get stuck in. Basil has had enough of watching and tries to jump in on Columbus's action. He soon spots Kinkajou, who looks like she might have got a grub, but by the time he gets there, she's already wolfed it down. And Rose finds a twig much more interesting than getting covered in sand. As it's not edible, she soon loses interest. All the running around on those little legs gives the pups quite an appetite. Today is about watching and learning. They aren't expected to find their own meals, so they enjoy free deliveries and an all-you-can-eat menu. It's their first taste of the food that the Kalahari has to offer, and nothing gets turned down. Today's foraging adventure has led them far from the burrow, and in places the danger isn't always exactly obvious. Devil's thorn flowers aren't too tall for the grown-ups. They can look over the top. But for a pup that measures only 6 centimeters, this is like a giant forest. Everyone's got to be careful not to lose any of the pups. Luckily for Basil, Mitch is around to keep an eye on him and leads him to safety. It's not long before Columbus must stop digging practice and start to head for home. But today it looks like flowers leading them to a new burrow. Moving to a new patch makes them extra cautious. It's just as well, as they have wandered into an area that's teeming with birds of prey. But eagle-eyed Mitch is onto them and sounds the alarm. Within seconds, his warning calls send the family tearing for the cover of their nearest bolt hole. Thanks to his maturity and sharp eyes, Mitch has got the family safely below ground, and it's clear that he's taking his responsibilities very seriously. He's still scanning the skies for danger and keeping up the warning calls to stop anyone from coming out. Finally, the danger passes, and Mitch leads the way and runs off into the open. One by one, the family follow his lead. As well as being a stand-in for Shakespeare, Mitch has the potential to be a dominant male, like his father Zaphod. But for this to happen, he would have to leave his family and start his own group. Casanova Carlos from the Lazuli appears to be doing just that. He's back by Tosca's side, and the two of them are getting along particularly well. Carlos may well have left his family in the hope of starting his own group. If he can recruit Tosca and a few other stray female meerkats, they could potentially start their own gang. This could be the start of something big for Tosca. She won't be able to survive on her own for much longer, but only time will tell if her future lies with Carlos. At the Whiskers' new burrow, everyone's settling in. The 4 tiny pups have had quite an adventure today, and for the adults, all the child supervision has been exhausting. But the effort was worth it. The newest recruits have made it to their new home unscathed, and with everyone safe and fed, it's time to relax after what have been a couple of momentous days. Shakespeare has not been seen since defending the pups from the lazuli. It's a sad loss. His courage and determination will be missed. But in time, other males in the family, like young Mitch, whose life Shakespeare saved all those months ago, will rise to fill the gap. All in all, Flower and Zaphod have had an enormous amount to cope with over the year, and the strain on this aging couple is starting to show. With so many lively youngsters coming up the ranks, it can only be a matter of time before the Whiskers are under new management. For now, Flower and Zaphod can take a well-earned rest, surrounded by their wonderful, courageous little family of survivors. But winter's fast approaching, and rival gangs of meerkats will start to spread out in search of ever scarcer resources. With Big Si and the lazuli watching their every move, there are sure to be more problems in store at Merkaat Manor.